Julie, too, is my primary guiding star. And I know that she is for so many of us in this room today. And lodestars of the soul never die, they never go away, they never fade. So I feel Julie very much alive within us all this afternoon, and encouraging us in her quiet and at times ferocious way to respect one another, to care for one another, to cooperate with one another, and to proceed in our lives representing her faith that love is all. Amen, Julie. I have the great joy now to read 3 letters from 3 of Julie's dearest dears. They were written several years ago, and I like to imagine that this very moment Julie is with these 3 gentlemen in some great celestial right wing about to go on. The first is from Mr. Noel Taylor. I was fitting giant wings on a griffin for my first Broadway play when Eva Le Gallienne's assistant stuck her head in the dressing room door and said, "Will you be kind enough to fit the young lady waiting in a costume for the second White Rabbit?" There she was, waiting, timid and shy, and somehow luminous. I didn't even know there was a second White Rabbit, but she was small, and it was a difficult decision to decide the height of her ears. When she left, I said to my assistant, "What a lovely, gentle soul, but she'll never amount to anything. She has no drive." Less than 3 years later, with Frankie Adams behind her, I passed by Broadway's most famous theater, the Empire, and there were lights above the name of the play, I Am a Camera, starring Miss Julie Harris. And that's how I met Sally Bowles. And then she introduced me to Queen Victoria, Liza Doolittle, Emily Dickinson, and Joan of Arc, and that did it. Since 1947, we did 35 productions together, and I realized if I'd only had 1/10 of the drive of that little White Rabbit, I might be better off than I am. And it makes me happy to know I didn't get the ears a bit too big. The next letter is from Mitch Erickson. Dear Julie, can I compare thee to a summer's day? I suppose so, sure. But I'd rather compare you to the best people I've worked with. Maggie Smith, Deborah Carr, Uta Hagen, Ruth Gordon, Jason Robards, Colleen Dewhurst, Ian McKellen, Eileen Atkins, Nigel Hawthorne, John Gielgud, Woody Allen, Albert Finney, Judith Anderson. It's a long list. You are more gifted, more adorable, more fun, and a better shopper than any of the above. However, if Uta, Colleen, or Maggie come near, burn this. You know how they get. Mitch. The last letter is from Mr. Charles Journey. First, let me say, I love you, Julie. There is everybody else, and then there is you. You make music, and that is made when your heart comes together with your intellect. Nobody does it better than you do. You are light held together by air. Your kind of acting exists in the same way that moonlight exists. It's out there all right, but distant and unreachable for most of us. I am very fortunate in having done 3 plays with you. You have taught me much. After having worked with you and watching your remarkable talent, I find there is only one thing left for me: suicide. What is it you have that the rest of us actors lack? 5 question marks. In this time of constant sorrow, I am happy to be your friend and that you tolerate me sometimes to allow me to work alongside you. My only hope is having you always near. One of the lessons I learned from you: idleness is the enemy of the soul. Most of us are driven by the fear of failure. You are pushed by the wings of angels. I love you, Charlie.